we speak of a body, and there is a body. This is one of the more interesting discoveries in Scientology. Well, you have to neglect illness and the body and so forth to improve man. And this is quite remarkable.
I knew that Scientology instinctually was evil and stupid and something that I didn't want to have anything to do with, and it was something my dad was into.
These statements about this, that, and the other thing, any new movement gets these things.
It's very, very difficult to undo something that you've been programmed so deeply to believe in for so long. Short of hitting rock bottom in some way, you're probably not going to be able to get out of it if you fall into it.
No, that of course, they merely say what they're told to say.
So now that you know about my family and my family history, let's get into the story of what it was like for me actually being a Scientologist. I mean, growing up in a Scientology indoctrinated family.
All right, that's the man that should be helped. That's the man you should help out, because that fellow is having a hard time.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the intermediate or technical video called The Tower of Babble. So in order to move along your indoctrination quicker as we progress from where we left off at the training routines or the TRs, you can already see that I'm using terminology that unless I stop every 2 seconds and explain what they mean, we're not going to get anywhere, hardly. So this video specifically is a crash course in the indoctrination and the nomenclature and the words that Scientologists use amongst each other, so that when we start talking about the rest of the bridge, some of this shit will make sense. I'll explain the terms and stuff as we go, but this video hopefully will cut that time down considerably, because they have a dictionary that's literally that thick of Scientology words. And that was one of the hardest things, and a lot of ex-Scientologists, all ex-Scientologists will say this. It's one of the hardest things to get your mind to think in English words and to reprogram how to actually use the English language, because that's sucked out of you as you're set into this new reality. So we're going to kill a couple of birds with many stones here. And we're going to take you, we're not only going to talk about the nomenclature and introduce you to some of the psychobabble, but we're going to take you up both sides of the bridge. Again, very cursory glance, but it'll get you familiarized with the whole thing. So when we start again at the training routines and carry on up the whole bridge, we're going to go all the way up to OT8. As we do that, a lot of this stuff will go faster and be smoother. So with that in mind, we have some clips, which I know you're going to think are made up and that it's some fucking Monty Python skit or some shit. But these are actual clips of Scientologists. I did a couple of these myself, where you're basically taken out of an auditing session or a really blowout course session that you just had. So you're particularly suggestible, particularly in a trance state, blown out of your mind. Your eyes, you're going to notice the eyes in a lot of these people, and their ecstatic demeanor is fucking weird. But to keep it simple, and I'm not going to stop stressing this, because although there's other elements to understand Scientology, you just have to understand hypnotism. L. Ron Hubbard was an expert hypnotist, amongst other things. And it's not that difficult, once you know how the mind works like that, to implant perceptions into the subconscious mind, which is the mind that's below your awareness, and then get a human being to live out those perceptions as if they were their own. And they won't be able to detect otherwise. They won't be able to detect that those aren't their ideas. That was one of the reasons, by the way, why I said it was impossible for someone to come along and peel me away from this belief system or talk some sense into me, because the power of those beliefs in the subconscious override critical thinking, conscious awareness, and everything else. So if you can hijack that part of the mind, implant perceptions, you can literally control someone's entire life. Because once you have the perception set, that's how you're going to fucking live out your life within that bubble. That's why there was such an explosion of a desire to read books, to get knowledge, to open my mind up to all the things that Scientology suppressed, and to delete these programs that I had downloaded for me into my mind by this fucking psychopath, and to really like try to understand how all this shit works. It's not that difficult, but we're not taught that in school. So it's very easy to be subjected to someone with shitty intentions that might actually know how the mind works more than you do and can completely take over your entire fucking life, like what happened to me. And also, Scientology looked crazy to me when I was a kid, and it looks crazy to me now, but never underestimate, I would suggest, the power of gradual seeds, gradual indoctrination, bit by bit by bit. You're definitely going to see as we carry on the story of my story, and then also the technical videos, how that actually works. A lot of work, a lot of time, and a lot of patience goes into taking somebody who might reject something that's obviously stupid and making them into a fucking fanatic or devotee, right? So anyways, watch these clips. I'm going to jump in and explain as we go what the fuck they're talking about, and then some of my experiences on the certain levels and kind of how I experienced it. And then hopefully by the end, you'll have a crash course in the nomenclature, an overview of what the bridge to total amnesia looks like. And then when we carry on with the training, we can go a lot faster. So without further ado, let's have a Scientologist himself introduce you to your indoctrination.
Tone 40. Wham, right at you, right? No holds barred, LRH, boom, right between the eyes.
I can almost smell Run's ink.
At the end of the student head, I was a fast student.
And I can learn anything. I mean, you can send me to NASA now. I'll put a satellite in space. That's how I feel.
There's no mountain you can put there that I won't be able to get over, or under, or ocean that I won't be able to cross, because I've got study tech.
Study tech. The very first concept that you're introduced to when you take a course at Scientology is a version of what they call study technology. At the beginning of every single course that you take in Scientology, whether you're brand new or you're at the high-level courses, there's always a bulletin at the very beginning that says you need to never go past a word that you don't understand. If you do, everything else will become blank in your mind and you're not going to be able to retain the data. That was one of the things that made a shitload of sense to me and that seemed scientific when I was in Scientology. There's a lot of stuff in Scientology, like the study tech, like you need to clear your word, which you're told at the beginning of every course, which is how you're introduced into this thing. So when these guys are talking about study tech that you just saw, and they're ecstatic about it, they're led up to that state. And initially it's just like, yeah, that makes sense. I should look up my words. Little do you know that you're being set up to a whole thing called study tech, which we'll do a separate video on, that's literally a psychological mind fuck. Using that basic concept. If you disbelieve what I'm saying, or, you know, it's always a good idea to get the other side or the other opinion, just listen to what Tom Cruise has to say on the matter. Maybe I'm wrong altogether.
The study technology works. It can turn around anyone's education difficulties and change one's life. I'm not just a promoter of study technology. I use this technology each and every day in my life.
It was I was standing on top of the world, like looking at everybody down and going like, I wish they can be where I am.
Did I mention that Scientology makes you into a massive narcissist as well as a sociopath? On with your training.
And then I come onto the ProTRs and the clay table processing, and that CTP just blew me away. I was stripping away things on comm and relationships.
You know, by the time you get to do the drills, you pretty much got it made because you put everything in clay. You know, got rid of anything else that's not supposed to be there.
Everything in Scientology, all the courses that you do, have what they call clay demonstrations. You take the concepts that you're learning in the studying and you make clay figurines out of these concepts. Again, an innocent seeming concept, but it's all part of the age regression, mind control techniques. Just like earlier in one of the videos, we talked about Alice in Wonderland being used. These are subtle age regression techniques to set you into this new bizarre reality. Let's carry on with this fucking madness.
The supervisor said, it's a class. I was jumping off my chair and I said, yes, I can audit. I can audit.
I thought it would take me years to learn that. And in less than 2 weeks, I was a pro meter and graduate.
And with the academy levels, I know I can say to a PC, this is a session. And I know he will be offending and cogniting at the end of that session.
And on the pro metering, my competence was just so in on being able to use the meter. I've never felt so competent at anything in my life before.
I was doing this assessment, like I had so much read. Small fall, long fall, below, down, thick, small fall.
Okay, so to decipher what this goofball is talking about, when he's using terms like pro-metering course, assessment, and tick, 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 and all that, these are all terms that refer to what it's like being an auditor. So you're going in to do a communication course or to maybe solve a problem with your family. And before you know it, at some point along your journey, you're going to be told that all these tools that you're learning are actually designed to make you into an auditor. What you really need to become in order to be competent in life is to become an auditor. So this is the very beginning of when the thing starts to turn, and it turns all the way up the bridge where you think you're getting in for one reason and suddenly it bait and switches into something entirely different. But hey, what the fuck do I know about Scientology? I was only indoctrinated into it for the majority of my life. Let's have a real Scientologist break it down and decipher it for you in much clearer terms.
It's golden age of knowledge. It actually says it what it says.
The golden age of knowledge is cognition after cognition after cognition after cognition.
I have cognitions and realizations and I can really start to apply these things to my life.
And I know exactly that I have to start with this one and I have to keep with this one and then this one and then the next one.
Everything about Scientology is about having cognitions and realizations. It's the same word, but they love to use the word cognitions.
And the next thing you know, as I'm cooking my breakfast, I'm watching my body cooking my breakfast from the other side of the kitchen. I just remember a particular cognition, a blowdown, just the blowing of charge, where I'm driving along. I just had to go, whoa, you know.
The golden age of knowledge. What a gift.
Boy, you've been waiting 76 trillion years to have that happen.
Hopefully you're still with us. Now that you understand the training side, let's move on to the processing side.
The case gain that is possible with this new golden age of tech, I think it's limitless. The road is free now.
Before the Purifit it was like I had the 100 pounds weight in my backpack, and now it's just no weight.
Which is it, ladies? Is it case gain or is it losing weight?
Went like from the bottom of the tone scale, being, you know, wooden, dead, apathetic, whatever, to bam, up to the top.
The tone scale is a very important tool in Scientology in terms of controlling your emotions and shutting your emotions down. We're going to have a whole separate video on this in particular, but there's a model that a guy named Steve Hassan put out that describes a cult really well, and it's called the BITE model, and it stands for behavior, information, thought, and emotion. These are the 4 different areas that any cult to varying degrees controls. In the E part of the BITE model, that's the emotion part, and the tone scale is a massive, massive tool in order to control your emotions and keep you in line. So what does it actually feel like and look like to be at the very top of the tone scale, or serenity of beingness? That has such a nice ring to it. I love the way that sounds.
I can run about, I can climb mountains, I can even go for Mount Kilimanjaro now.
I'm 68 years old, but I feel like I'm 15. I've just got this sort of boundless view of the future.
My OCA increased by 690 points since finishing the Purif, so I just see things totally different now.
Yeah, no shit, bro. I know exactly what you're talking about. So after you finish the Purif, you do something called the happiness rundown, ARC straight wire, and then finally you get onto the grades. There's grades 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and each one has a specific end phenomena that you're promised. Let's have these geeks tell you more about it.
Then grade 0, it's like, hello, I'm here. And since then, I really have no backup to communicate.
It was so cool because I backed out of my head and I was like, oh my God, it's all just mess. And here I am. I'm not part of that.
All right, let's try to move through this shit. I'm getting brainwashed just by watching this. So on grade 0, you're promised that you'll have the ability to communicate freely with anyone on any subject. Are Scientologists able to communicate freely with anyone on any subject? Are you, Tom Cruise? Grade 1, the ability to spot the source of problems and make them vanish. Grade 2, relief from the hostilities and sufferings of life. Grade 3, freedoms from the upsets of the past and the ability to face the future. Am I scaring you yet? Grade 4, moving out of fixed conditions and the ability to do new things. Fuck yeah.
Grade 1 was not what I was expecting. I thought that I was going to come out with an ability to handle problems, and instead I just didn't have any anymore.
With grade 2, I was free to soar. I was free to get out of the river, out of the mud.
With grade 3, now I'm like, well, what else can I get involved in? What else can I do? What else could I change in my life? What else could I make happen?
Then grade 4 and running surfax. I don't have those postulates anymore. So I had to create new postulates.
Okay, what this area is talking about is postulates is everything in Scientology. To be able to postulate something means to be able to think it in your mind and then manifest it in the physical universe. So the point of the grades is to relieve enough charge in your mind so that you can finally confront going clear. If you don't achieve the state of clear on what's called NED, or New Era Dianetics, which immediately follows grade 4, then you have to go the alternate route to clear.
After completing Power and Power Plus, I feel limitless, and being able to operate on that kind of a bandwidth is new. You know, it's kind of unheard of.
And then New Era Dianetics is a time machine. You take down the time track very fast.
And then like Elmer Fudd, you know, going, hunting we will go, right? You're going out and you're going to shoot engrams, man.
And you're coming out the other end with something gone.
Yeah, your fucking brain, dude. So what this computer nerd was talking about when he was talking about engrams, the goal of Scientology auditing is to remove engrams. Those are states of pain and unconsciousness that you experience, which are fucking up your entire life. And by relieving them, you can achieve the state of clear, a being who no longer has his own reactive mind. So what do these hypnotized fools have to say about what it's like actually achieving the state of clear?
I was like, oh my God, this is happening. This is real.
Did I dream it? And then I was touching my bracelet, and then it was like, nope, still clear.
I've been clear 13 days, and I'm not over it yet. To be honest, I'm still not over it.
Trust me, dude, you'll get over it just like I did. So what are some of the gains that you can actually achieve while ascending the bridge to total freedom?
Like my ability to decide to generate energy or not at my cause, at my choice, just went through the roof.
All of a sudden, I was just pouring energy into my body from above.
And then something in my space exploded. And I just realized that I had no ridges.
They were just not there. They were literally gone.
It's like a canopy coming off of my entire universe, you know?
Wow. I occupy a lot of space. And I can operate finally as a Theta.
And then after doing superpower, I know I'm a much bigger, better, sometimes even more dangerous player.
You are the king of your universe, and it's not just a phrase.
I went through the frontiers of the MEST universe, and then I started feeling the Theta universe.
Ah, yes, the Theta universe. Everything in Scientology is Theta. It's all about exiting the MEST, or matter, energy, space, and time universe, and transcending into the spiritual universe. Not a bad goal, except Scientology cannot deliver that.
I felt like in a muscle car, you like rev the engine, and I did that as a being. I was like, boom.
Because I was able to boom, 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 I'm going to do this and do that, and that's going to happen, and then it happens.
All effort is gone.
Really living life for the first time.
And moving forward in a hurtling charge over the ramparts, that's superpower.
The goal of Scientology is to get up to clear and then on to the OT levels, where you will transcend from clear into eternity.
Clear to eternity actually is happening now.
You want to go clear? Hello. 2 months, 36 days for me. What is that?
I did the solo course, OT1, 2, 3, and 4 in 3.5 months.
And I attested to my OT5 on my 19th birthday.
The amount of power I got in so little amount of time gives me goosebumps.
I have never had so many wins.
And what does clear to eternity really mean? What are Scientology's true goals? They would like to make you, me, and everyone else on this planet into a Scientologist and run this planet by Scientology policy. Now, what would that world look like? Think George Orwell's 1984, and you'll know exactly what their plans are.
Like I had like floating toners all over the place.
Just fireworks of cognition.
It's not just life-changing, it's eternity-changing.
Not just the future of just this planet, there is a future.
This is the golden age. This is a platinum age.
That dream of clearing the planet is actually now coming to life.
Okay, my friends, thus concludes your crash course on Scientology's Psychobabble. And if you made it this far, give yourself a pat on the back because you have no fucking idea what it's like trying to edit this shit. On the next video, we'll pick up the storyline from where we left off. And then on the technical video, we'll pick it up from the communication course or the training routines. If you don't hear from me and I know it took a couple of weeks between this video and the last one, but it's just because I got some new equipment. I'm trying to figure out how to use it. And if you don't hear from me for like 2 or 3 weeks, just know that I'm hard at work making a video. I want to stress quality a little bit more over quantity like I was before. I mean, there's going to be many seasons of this show because there's so much to talk about. But since I have this new equipment and I'm learning a little bit more about what I'm doing as I go, hopefully things will start to look a little bit better. And then also I notice it's taking a little bit more time to do the videos. So like I said, the storyline will probably be out once a week thereabouts, but some of these technical videos might take 2 or maybe even 3 weeks to make. So if you don't hear from me, don't worry. The cult hasn't snatched me up and Xenu hasn't grabbed me and put me in an electronic mountain trap while LRH is fighting the 5th Invader force on target 2. Everything will be fine. The story will be told. I promise. I'll leave you with this pearl of wisdom from the Scientologist. And until the next video, be safe.
The creation of the wheel, walking on the moon, the Renaissance, the golden age of knowledge is the most important leap.